Hi, it's Gadget UK here again. This time I'm going to tear my Mega CD down and remove the BIOS, socket it up and get a replacement BIOS on there in the form of an EPROM with 4 different versions of the BIOS. I think what I'm going to, if you see my previous video, you'd see I've done this little pick chip here that I've programmed, and I've perfected this now. It supports 4 ROMs instead of 3. And it saves the settings to the EPROM on the chip as well. So if you change to, say, Japanese, switch everything off, come back the following day, switch it back on again, it'll be on Japanese automatically when you first switch it on. And the reason I've extended it to support 4 BIOSes, there's enough room inside the ROM. You know, I think the default ROM size is 128K, and the chip that I'm going to put on there is going to be a meg. It's going to be half a meg, so I can accommodate 4 ROMs. And what I figured I was going to do is set it up to default to PAL, which is what this unit is, then toggle to USA, then toggle to Japanese, and then toggle to a European region-free ROM. So you can run anything with that effectively and get the best of all worlds with that kind of thing, really. So I've got 3 original ROMs and 1 that's just kind of region free. I might even use the US region free just to get the 60 Hz, I don't know. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll tear this apart, we'll have a look at the board, and I'll get the chip off. So we've got the board out there now. You can see this is the chip that's going to need to come off here. So I'll just carefully desolder that, get a socket on there. Right, you can see I've got the chip off here. You wouldn't believe how hard that was to remove. I would go as far to say, if you've not got a Heiko desoldering station, or a Weller one, or something like the one I've got here, do not even attempt to try and remove that chip. Just because of the thickness of the PCB. I don't know whether it's more than 2 layers, it could well be. But just because of the thickness and stuff of it, and the size of the pads, it's damn near impossible to get the chip off. I had set my station for about 375, started about 300, wasn't hot enough, set it to 350, most of the pins cleared. I was struggling with 3, I think it was these bottom 3 here on this side, and I just couldn't unblock them even with a second soldering iron, so I bumped it up to 375. It's probably around actually about 370, actually more than 375. And then I managed to unblock them, but as you can see, just as in the haste here, I managed to get a couple of bits of solder onto some of the traces, so I had to, remove those with some solder braid. But I mean, it's relatively clean. You can see I've got no damage there, I've got no scratches, no lifted pads, no lifted tracks, but it's taken the best part of an hour and a half to remove that, which is ridiculous. You shouldn't take that long to remove a chip like that. Yeah, they're good quality boards, these, but I certainly would take your time. And if you want to do this mod and you haven't got a decent desoldering station and a lot of experience, I would suggest cutting the chip off. Use some wire cutters, cut each of the pins really, really carefully on the side of the chip, and then just remove your pins. I wouldn't attempt to desolder that unless you've got, like I said, the right kit and the right experience. So just a quick test here, back with the original BIOS in the socket. As you can hear, that's working fine with the CD. So I'll get on to the next part of this now. So the next thing I'm going to do here is program this chip, and I've taken a 27C 4002. You could probably use something like a 27C 4096 for this as well. It's 512K. If we look at the profile here, sorry, camera's in the wrong place. If we look at the profile of the chip here, I've selected that chip. You can see it's 256K words, so it's 16 bits, so it is 512KB in total. The BIOS for the Sega CD is 128K, so it's it's a 64K in terms of words. So we can accommodate 4 of those in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to merge the I'll have the European ROM first, then the USA ROM, and then the Japanese ROM, followed by a region-free US ROM. And I decided to go with the US region-free just because it's the 60 Hz thing, despite the fact that it's probably dictated by the switches on the Megadrive. I figure that if I'm going to use the region 3 one, I'm going to use it more in 60 Hz, mode than anything else. I think more than anything else. But I've got the I'll have the 3 original BIOSes on there anyway, so I can switch to any region. So using a hex editor there, I've just copied and pasted the different ROMs into one ROM file. I took the European one to start with, then opened the USA ROM, selected all the contents, copied, pasted onto the end of there. That gave us a 256K ROM. Then did added the Japanese one again, select all the contents of the Japanese ROM, paste it onto that same ROM again, and then finally copy in the region 3 ROM to the end there. So I've ended up with a ROM there, multi-region.bin, as you can see, which is 512K. So I can program that now. So the next thing I need to do here is wire up the reset. When you press the reset button, I've looked at the schematics, well, for the Mark II, I presume it's the same. It pulls like a reset line low. So there's nothing actually on the Mega CD itself that you could use. There are reset lines there, like connected to the 68000 and stuff. The problem is they're sort of soft controlled by the Megadrive. The BIOS, I've looked at the diagram there for the Mega CD, the BIOS is mapped to the cart port basically, so that when this boots, it boots the Mega CD BIOS and then allows a cart to boot, or it allows you to go into the CD system, etc. So in terms of a reset, you're dependent on the actual Megadrive doing the reset here by the soft reset button. But that does give us the low signal we need. You press it, it goes low. So the only way you can do it, as far as I can see, I've thought about this long and hard and looked at the diagram, both for the Mega CD and the Megadrive, a fair bit. I think the only way you can do it is there are 1 or 2 pins on the, I don't know where they are, just on the edge, somewhere on one of the edges here, that are not used. That one might be one actually you can see there. It looks like there's no connection. You can just about see that the pad below it is cut off. So we should in theory be able to connect that reset to the right side of that reset switch up to there, and then do the same sort of mod in the Mega CD to pull that reset signal across in the Mega CD, into the PIC chip. I will have to do a mod to the PIC chip. I've been thinking about this because you want the reset capability without actually incrementing the firmware. So I'll do it. I'll just do a small mod to that PIC code later, so that as you hold down the reset for maybe more than a second, then it will increase the EPROM. The addressing there on the EPROM, or if you just tap it, it'll just reset. So you can see where I'm going to solder here. I'm going to solder a wire onto that point there. I put some tape there just to mask off, because I want a tiny bit of solder to join the wire on. I don't want it travelling all the way along the trace, because obviously that's going to, that's your connector that's going to connect to the Mega CD. And then on the button on this particular revision of Megadrive, it's the bottom right pin there, the one with the big blob of solder. I'm going to solder onto that. Just tested this with power. You've got 5 volts on the top pin there, and as you press the button, this bottom pin transitions from low to about 3.6 volts ish, so it's like from low to high. It's the opposite actually, as it shows on the Mega CD, sorry, not the Mega CD, the Megadrive 2, Genesis 2, Mark II, the revision 2 systems. So that shows it's an active low. This seems to be an active high reset, strangely enough. So I'll have to modify my PIC code to invert the logic there, but that should be okay. So I'll just, like I say, I'll route the wire probably through the shielding, I think, and then just have it come out down there, onto that pin. So there you go, you can see I've got the wire joined up there, and then also down here, and it's just like I say, it's routed underneath the shielding there. So I need to do a pass through, I think, because that's not going to be connected to anything on the Mega CD. So on the bridge board that comes up on the side here on the Mega CD, obviously let's connect, put a wire from the bottom of those 2 connections to the top of those 2 connections on the relevant side, so that does transition all the way through to the Mega CD. So it's worth just testing the work I've done there. If I just put the meter probe on there, switch it on. Yeah, so that's ground. Press the reset button. You can see we get 3.65, and that's reset released. Reset pressed. Reset released. Reset pressed. Released. So that is working. So there we go. It's the 4th pin on the top of the PCB. You know, as you look at the Megadrive, it was like from the back there of the top edge. The fourth one has joined up to the fourth one of the lower edge, which comes out on here. Yeah, fourth pin on there of CN2, which is not connected to anywhere. So I'll do the same thing on there, stick a bit of tape, just so I can solder a very small wire onto the very, very edge of the trace there, which I can connect up to a little board. The other thing worth doing here is just taking a little nick out the plastic here, so that when this wire, because it fits flush, if you look at the actual corner screw mounts, it's designed to fit flush with that along the PCB. So you need just that little gap there in order, if you see, I don't think you can be able to see this, if you get it just the right angle, you can see the little gap. It just allows the wire there just to sit into that little gap. It doesn't need to be that wide, I just made it that wide, just quick and easy with a pair of wire cutters and some pliers. But yeah, that fits flat now, so I should be able to put that back together. Right, I've inverted the logic there for the bit states on the buttons. You can see I've got a little bit of breadboard, got my chip on there and a socket, so I can reprogram it. I've got my red and black wire here, which are going to go to the VCC and ground on the EPROM, so that'll take care of the power. The blue wire I've kept blue as the reset, because that's the colour I use on the Megadrive and on the back plane of the Sega CD there. And then the grey and the green are going to go to the address lines on the EPROM. So I just need to make sure the ends of these are stripped off. I'm going to have a go at mounting this inside now, and we'll give it a test. So here we go. This is after a code change now. If I just reset this, and I'll go into system info, you can see how it's set. So system set to NTSC, CD-ROM PAL. So if I change my system into PAL, hang on, right, so it's English. I don't know if that's going to reflect in real time. No, it won't. So let's just press the reset. System info, PAL. Now you notice I press the reset, I'll do it again, and nothing happens. It doesn't change. You know, it's still PAL. CD-ROM is still EU PAL. Press it slightly longer, and hopefully it may have changed. Let's have a look. No, it's not. It's still the same. Now, if I hold it, I think about this. So switch it off and on. Just double check that. Make sure it hasn't changed, because it doesn't always reflect it when you. Yeah, it has changed it. It's changed it to Japanese. Single reset. Let's check it again. Why did it show Japanese? Let's just reset that again. I swear that just showed Japanese on the system. Yeah, system type Japanese PAL. It's actually in PAL. It's EU PAL. I don't know why it's saying Japanese PAL. Let me just double check that. Yeah, it's in EU PAL. Occasionally the Megadrive will think, even though it's in PAL, I think it's in Japanese PAL. I'm not too worried about that. But the point is, it's in PAL and the CD-ROM is in EU PAL. Now, if I hold the reset button down for a second or two, like that, switch it off, switch it on. You don't need to switch it off and on, but you do in terms of this system info. It won't show CD-ROM type. There's changed to US NTSC. And again, I can reset it. Have a look at the system info. It's still on US NTSC. Switch it off, switch it on. Should still be on US NTSC. US NTSC, that's great. And then if I hold the reset again for 2 or 3 seconds, that's it. I'll switch it off, switch it on. I like to switch it off and on because it doesn't always just refresh it on the system info. So you can see now it's changed to Japanese NTSC. I think the next one is the region 3 ROM, so it should go back to NTSC again. So I mean, we'll just reset it again, and I'll switch it off and on. It should still be on Japanese. I hope this is making sense. I'm just trying to show you here. So it's still Japanese NTSC, but if I hold the reset down, 1, 2, 3, let go, switch it off, switch it on, it should now have gone to the US region 3 ROM. Let's just show as US NTSC, there you go. And then after that ROM, it should go back to the PAL. So I'll hold reset, 1, 2, 3, switch it off, switch it on, go back into the settings again, and there you go, EU PAL. So, and I can show you that. Well, actually, if I just do run the CD, I think it's already on the European, so this should work. There you go. So that's my standard version 1 European Mega CD BIOS. If I hold reset down, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it needed powering off and on. I think that's one thing to note actually. Sometimes you can run into problems when you're switching regions with the Mega CD. unless you power it off completely. But you can see, you know, that's on the US region now. If I hold down reset, I think we'll probably get to the Japanese region next, so let's give that a go. Try run CD again. Yeah, okay, PAL compatible. So let's just put it back on Japanese, I think that is. Reset it. Now I might need to power the Mega CD off again here, I'm not sure, let's see. No, there we go, so it is Japanese now. So that's working. So there's a bit of, it's a, you know, a kind of a little bit, can be a little bit fiddly swapping over. But what I'm going to do with this is somewhere in front here, in this, I might just squeeze in an LED on the very edge, and it's like a dual state blue, red. I don't know where I'll fit it, somewhere there, just so it shines through a little bit on the edges of one of these existing LEDs, so that you can see, you know, you'll get a visual indication there of the different regions. It's a dual colour LED, so it's one of these, I think it's like blue and red, so it'll go purple when both are lit, or you'll have blue or you'll have red. So if I stick it on the very edge of the green here, it should just, you should be able to, or somewhere, I don't know where I'm going to put it yet, should be able to get a visual cue there as to what region we're set to. But the cool thing is with this, like I say, you know, it's saving it to the EPROM internally on the PIC chip. So if I switch it off, switch it on, you know, come back the following day, let's run our CD, and we should still be in Japanese. There we go. So that's great. And you know, if I hold down reset again, let's go to the next one. I think the next one's the US one. Switch it off, switch it on. It's always worth just doing that, I guess. It will work without it, I've proven that. It will work without the reset. Might need to change the Megadrive region here, let's see. No, there we go, so into the US 1.10 ROM, so that's working. And I think, trying to think about this, I think the next one after this is also US. No, it's not. No, it's not. It goes PAL, US, Japanese, US region free. So this is actually the region free ROM at the moment. This will run anything, regardless of the region. So yeah, I don't really need it. It's just nice to have. And what would have been better, I guess, had I could have done it, is to not use the reliance on the reset, you know, the reset button on the Mega Drive here, because there is a kind of tie-in there now that if this Mega CD is ever separated, you know, and sold separately, it's going to be stuck on the region it's on. And to that end, what I might do is actually stick a switch, a little button on the back, a little switch that you can use to simulate pressing the reset. Perhaps isolate it with a diode or something, I'm not sure. I may do that, just so that you've got an alternate way of changing the region on this without having the reset there. I'll certainly label it up underneath to say it's been modded and needs the additional reset pin passing from the Mega Drive or something along those lines, just in case I die or whatever. And you know, it gets sold on. But anyway, I thought you'd find that interesting. In the next video, I'll go through some of the code, but I figure there's too much to show going through all of the code as well as the changes I've been doing to this. It needs screwing back together. You can see it's not quite clipped together here on the front, and actually the chip is, if I just show you, hanging out the back there, just for ease of programming at the moment. It's just, you know, it's just loosely squished in. It's not screwed together, so I will mount it inside the case. There's a nice little cavity. I can't really show you where it is. It's sort of, as your logic board sits here, up here, just sort of down here towards the back end of the Mega CD. There's quite a large space above all of the, you know, the sound and power stuff. So I should be able to mount it down there somewhere. I might show it if it's anything, you know, of interest. But anyway, I thought you'd find that interesting. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.